Where is she now? She's nowhere, which means she's everywhere. Oh, what? That I heard her. What? Where? What? Where is she? I can't go in. Oh no. Sometimes the scariest things in life are the things you expect to be happy and innocent and turn out to be hiding something deeply horrifying, which is probably why it's not uncommon to find people who are terrified of dolls and Mickey Mouse. Personally, I'm afraid of Pingu, but that's not the point. The point is, ever since people started talking about liminal spaces and Wario apparitions and whatnot, modders and hackers have been working tirelessly to weaponize those things and attempt to take the whimsical and upbeat Super Mario 64 and turn it into the scariest video game ever created, and to some extent, they actually succeeded. I just got done playing SM64.Z64, which was the most terrifying thing I'd seen since the character models in the GTA Remastered trilogy, and since it was a pretty short game, I was kinda left wanting more spooky stuff, which is why the creation of Another Princess is in Our Castle came at the perfect time for me. Although it is only a demo in its current state, it serves as the perfect teaser for a bigger and more terrifying game to come. Another Princess in Our Castle is a game that really takes me back to a bygone era of simple yet surprisingly effective horror games from around 2012 to 2015, where games like Resident Evil were taking a back seat to Markiplier's screaming like a lunatic when he gets jump scared by a rabbit. Some people might think that it's gone out of style, but I've always had an appreciation for this approach. On the other hand, I've always been a fan of Mario 64, so it's almost comical how loudly this game is screaming my name and how hard it is begging me to play it. And how could I possibly defy the whims of my terrifying mistress? Another Princess is in Our Castle is a first-person survival horror game thing that plays somewhat similarly to Slender the 8 Pages, in that you explore a dark and ominous setting armed with only a minor light source, but instead of collecting 8 pages, you're collecting 8 statues of characters from Super Mario 64. Only problem is this terrifying ghostly Princess Peach woman is patrolling the castle, and if she happens to come too close to you, she'll kill you on the spot. Your only hope of survival is staying out of sight and listening closely to the game's audio cues and to be extremely careful when opening doors. Your only real saving grace are these treasure chests that you can hide in, but you may not have enough time to react if you're not playing well. If she does happen to see you, you can outmaneuver her, but you have to be extremely precise and manage your stamina with impeccable precision. Oh, this isn't gonna work. Oh, this isn't gonna work. I can't believe that worked. I was able to get a lot of distance between me and her by running around the fountain and hugging the wall as closely as possible, but the placement of a lot of the statues means that it's very easy to get cornered and killed. This really is a true horror game, where you are a completely defenseless idiot with no resources aside from your legs, and those aren't worth much because your stamina runs out in 5 seconds. I guess that's what Mario gets for eating all that spaghetti. This truly is a spectacular example of how the video game medium can be leveraged to elicit fear and terror that other mediums aren't really capable of. This is a game that constantly keeps you at the edge of your seat and transforms the innocent world of Mario 64 into a distinctly unwelcoming and dangerous setting. It is a deeply terrifying experience where you rarely get to feel secure. You're always looking over your shoulder, and just to make it hit that much harder, there are these occasional fleeting moments of safety and comfort that are often torpedoed mere moments after they arise. Ghost Peach, or whatever you want to call her, her behavior is only predictable to an extent. Sometimes she'll take a different route than you expected, sometimes she'll hear you open a door and turn around and come after you when you think you've got her figured out. It's not inconsistent enough to be overly frustrating, but it's just unpredictable enough to keep you moving and thinking. Every time you die, you learn something new, and as you slowly, methodically make your way around the castle finding statues, you start subconsciously making all these plans in your head without even realizing it. Like, alright, well now that I know this thing is here, I know I can use the terrain here to evade her if need be. And I know that if I risk going into this room, I'll be cornered and should probably hop in the chest and wait it out. You start making routes in your head to determine where to go and in what order to minimize danger, while also thinking about escape routes depending on which door she decides to just phase through. If you play it right, the game can be surprisingly forgiving, but I don't fully understand the metagame yet, so I haven't boiled it down to a science. It is worth noting that this is medium difficulty, and as far as I can tell, the other two difficulties aren't available yet. They'll probably come in the full version, but it's completely doable either way. The models and textures and geometry are kept largely the same as the original game, likely to maintain the power of liminal spaces, but additional graphical effects like darkness and bloom are enough to make it more terrifying. It really is a great example of the less is more style of game, wherein the perversion of the ordinarily happy place is the driving force behind the scare factor. The sound design is great, forgoing scare chords for atmospheric background noise. There's just enough ambience and audio cues to fully engulf you into this terrifying world, never allowing you to rest or breathe calmly. The finer points of the story so far are kept relatively vague. One of the few things that is revealed is that, according to the download page, Princess Peach has been dead for 5 years, suggesting that the ghost is in fact Peach, but that still leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Well, I guess that's all part of the mystery. It is worth noting that this is only a demo for a larger game to come, but it ends on such a fantastic note that made me really want to see where it goes next. As for the true nature of the story, I can only really offer some vague speculations. It seems like a pretty grounded and fair assumption that the ghost is definitely Peach, but I almost wonder if the title Another Princess may suggest that this is in fact someone else entirely. Could it be a dead relative of Princess Peach that nobody knows about? Is it possible she's not actually dead and this is some weirdo family curse known only to the Mushroom Kingdom royal family? Then again, if it really is Peach, why does she want you dead? Could it be as simple as she hates intruders, or did Mario do something that made her angry, preceding her death? And why did Mario even come here in the first place? Could it really have been an arbitrary decision on his part? I mean, I imagine an empty castle that once belonged to someone you cared about who is now dead would only bring pain. And what happened in those 5 years? Save the Mushroom Kingdom one more time. Is this bigger than just a haunted castle? Is the ghost of Princess Peach some omnipotent being that threatens the entire world somehow? It's that air of mystery that helps make it as scary as it is, because you always fear what you don't understand. There are so many questions to be answered, and the demo ends before you can get those answers, which ends up being a very effective way of making the player anxious for some kind of explanation. Another Princess is in Our Castle joins the ranks of the spookiest fan games I have ever played in my time, and I want to be the first person to know when the full game comes out. I have questions and the final game is going to answer them. Hopefully. I would absolutely recommend playing the demo for yourself, and definitely keep an eye out for the final version when it eventually gets released. It's mysterious and ominous and scary and horrifying and eerie and sinister, and look at all these synonyms. Bottom line, it's real good, so you should play it. Thank you so much for watching this video.